Hello, what's happening guys? The story I've got for you today happened just last week, so it's very fresh on my mind. At the time, I also took pictures and a video afterwards, so throughout this video, you will get a much clearer picture of exactly what I'm talking about. This is the living room in my place, which just proves that RuneScape is only a game after all, and it's all just pixels, right? I know that's going to piss some people off for sure, but that's the whole point. So I decided I wanted to get an electric fireplace. I went and looked online, wasn't doing anything for me, couldn't actually get an idea for these things. So I went out, seen this one in the shop, sent the video to someone to say like, this is the one I'm going to get. Because a lot of electric fires look fake and cheap because of the design. They're not real after all. They're meant to look real, but you know they're not. But this had like an optimist effect. Look, I know you don't give half a shit about fires, but this is what I was thinking at the time, and it's my story. Anyways, I bought it, brought it home, all the rest of it, and you really want to know, don't you, how this nearly turned into the worst day of my life and I nearly flooded my apartment and the whole fucking building probably would have collapsed. Now, my knowledge when it comes to general building work is non-existent. Even the simple jobs, like if you said to me, can I put a shelf up for you? I wouldn't know what tools to use, if I should be hitting through that wall, and by the end of it, you get a shelf on an angle that if you put anything on it, it'll fall down anyway, because it can't hold any weight. So I intend to avoid even small jobs, because I don't trust myself to do it. I have no experience in it. And the electric fireplace had a bracket which needed fitting. So I called my dad. He's like a handyman. He helps me out a lot because he had his own building firm for many, many years. And he did extensions, bathrooms, kitchens, you name it. He's done it all. So when I said to him, do you mind putting up a bracket for my electric fireplace? He's like, yeah, no problem. 30-minute job. He's done this stuff like a million times. So again, I can trust him to do it well. And I know what he's capable of. I also said too, got some drip and taps in the bathroom as well. What can we do for them? He's like, oh, you're going to need some new washers, 10-minute job. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's got it under control. And I offer him money every time. I say, do you know how much I will be spending here to get this done? Because when I first moved in here, he converted one of my cupboards into like a walk-in wardrobe almost. And he did so much to it. He spent like a full week helping me out. I'm like, you know how much I'd pay someone for that? But it's like he never charges me. I just have to make up to him on Christmases and birthdays because he never takes anything from me. He comes around like the next day and he's like, where do you want it? I'm like, yeah, about there on that wall. He's like, okay, we make the markings, or he does. Why am I acting like I know what I'm doing? He measures up and he says, right, and I'm going to need to drill into this wall, these two holes, and then we can put the bracket on, no problem. Now, before he starts the drilling, he's assessing the job. He says that there shouldn't be any pipes running upwards through this wall at this point. He said, if anything, you'll have pipes running along the bottom, but we are nowhere near that. It should be okay. So I take his word for it. I do obviously like analyze what's going on and try and make sense of it in my head. So I say, oh, are you sure we're going to be okay? Like, no problem. He's like, yeah, leave it with me. Gets the drill out, drills one hole, no problem. Then he starts drilling the next one because he's taking it slow. And he's like, he pulls the drill out and he's looking a bit confused. I'm like, is everything okay? He said, I feel like I'm pushing against something. Feels like a plastic pipe. He said, but I don't think it is, because I imagine when you're drilling through the wall, you can hit anything and it can sometimes feel like that, but it's actually nothing. He's like, I don't know what it is, he says, but it should be okay. So he gets his drill up again, starts drilling through the wall, and all I see, because I'm on the couch at this point, I'm laid back, I'm chilling, a little bit more anxious now that he's told me that this could be a pipe right there, and then he tells me it's not gas, so I'm like, okay, we will see it if something happens, I guess. We didn't really talk in much detail about what could happen though. It was just like, it might be a pipe, so whatever. We didn't even plan for anything bad to happen. He gets his drill, just drills through at this point, pulls the drill out, and no joke, water spits out this wall about 15 foot. He hit an upward pipe, which I didn't know until afterwards how pressurized they are. And no joke, if he didn't at that point stop that water flow, at this point it was gushing out. And he was like, no, the water. And I'm like, oh, panicking because I'm fucking clueless with this stuff. I said, what do we do? He then puts his thumb over the hole in the wall, restricting the flow of water that's just gushing out. I looked at the floor and it's like someone had threw a few buckets down. It wasn't like flooded, but you could tell there was water everywhere. So he's stopping the flow of it. He's going red in the face, panicking a bit, like knowing what he's done. I'm just clueless, like I'm a spare part of this whole experience. I said, are you okay to put your thumb on like that? Like, surely it's going to go inside the wall and that's going to fall or something. And at this point, we are, like, our hearts are racing and we're really, like, thinking on the spot here. He tells me right away, he's like, where are the water mains? You need to turn it off by the main water. Where is it in this building? I said, or where is it in your thing? He says, take over this now. So I then take over. I put my thumb on the wall where this water was gushing out. If I would have let go, it really would have done some damage very, very quickly. In a matter of minutes, I'm sure the whole place would have been flooded. So I'm holding over. He's looking around for this pipe. I said, is it down there? He said, no, that's your gas one. He's pulling shit out underneath the sink to try and find if it's under there. I said, Dad, I'm pretty sure it's downstairs because mine's not a massive apartment block, you see. There's not many here. I said, just go downstairs. I said, here are the keys. I give him a set of keys with about 15 keys on it. I said, it's one of them. I can't remember. He takes the keys off me, runs downstairs, comes back up, and this was about 2 minutes later. He says, I can't get in there. None of them are working. And I'm thinking, oh my word, because I remember when I first moved in here, I couldn't check my water meter, and then I got given a key by like the company that looks after these buildings, and they said, there you go, that's access to it. So then I could see my water meter and the levels and everything on it. So I knew I had the key, and I said, you know what, it's on that other set of keys there. So I'll give him another one with a few keys on. I said, go down. I said, I know for a fact it's in there. I had to check it, and I remembered it well, how it looked. It had like each apartment number on, so all he would have had to do, I remember seeing the valves and everything, because I was like, you know, all I needed was the number at the time. Anyways, he takes the keys. We're talking about 3 minutes now since this water's been going everywhere. I'm worried that like it's going up the wall and stuff. I'm sure you guys, you know what I'm talking about, know what can happen here. And then he goes down, he comes back up, he says it's off. He says, release your hand. So I take my hand off, bit of dripping water, and then it stops. And he says, I can't believe this. He said, I'm going to have to rip your wall out pretty much now. And I'm just like looking around. I had this image of an electric fire looking beautiful on the wall, and what I was looking at right now was pretty much a hole in the wall. What he did then was, I've got a picture here to show you, he had to cut out the wall, so it went from being a small hole to a much bigger hole in the wall because he had to get to the pipe that he'd hit. Little did he know, well, he didn't know that there was 3 pipes going upwards. I think there might have been 4. And he'd hit one of them, but he obviously got a clearer view. And he said, all I need to add to this now, it's like a little connector. It's got a special name, but whenever a pipe has a hole in it, because when I looked at it, I said, how are you going to do that? Put like something around it to stop it? He was like, no, I'll have to cut it. And then it's like a hose attachment, and you pin the two together, you tighten it up, and it flows through perfectly, like nothing. It's almost as strong as it was before when you had this adapter. He filled the wall in. And you know what? After he'd done it, it was all good. The pipe was fixed, not a problem. Water went back on. And I just couldn't believe that what had happened. Of course, this was nothing compared to a video I'd seen just before. There was a video I seen on YouTube, actually, of some plumber, and he flooded the whole apartment. They were hoovering up water. And that's the vision I had the moment this happened. So I'm very thankful and fortunate that no other apartment in the building was damaged, not even mine. We tackled it very quickly. If we didn't have a key for that water mains, fuck knows what we would have done. I only actually got that as well, like not too long ago, about a month or 2 ago. If I would have just left my water and delayed it, then we would have been in trouble, I think, trying to switch that off. But it was a panicky moment. I learned a lot from it. It got filled in. And then in the end, guys, I'm going to share a video now, my fire all completely up and done. But yeah, what nearly flooded my entire apartment turned out to be okay. Hope you guys have enjoyed listening into this story. It's been a pleasure as always. 100 likes would be much appreciated. See you guys next time. Goodbye.